Ooh, that's a good one. He was in that Western True Grit. Yeah, True Grit.
Oh, he was in Kingsman too.
Mm-hmm.
He was the giver.
Perfect.
Oh, we're live. Hi, Peach.
Hi, everybody. We're just on our opening page. And if you guys want to take a dip down or take a look, we have a new logo.
What?
Hey, J-Bot. What did I just walk into? Just a couple of moments. We're still setting up. But hello and welcome. We are super excited to have you guys. I forgot to tweet. Twitch.com. Oh gosh, this book, it's gonna be a good discussion. I am very excited. It's gonna be a great time. I have so many thoughts and feelings, and I'm sure that you guys do too. Now. Okay. Hi. Hey, J-Bot. I think you have some fancy official millennial emotes to use now. New poll.
What? J-Bot OM emotes.
Do you like the new You Heard logo? Oh, thanks, Peach. I sure do. Let me open my Twitch.
Don't, damn it. I do that every time.
To forget to open Twitch. I do that too.
No. So I'll go to Twitch. I always like to pop out the chat and then just have my Discord and the chat side by side. And I always hit switch to our mod settings. And so it takes me to the page. And I'm like, no, I need to switch to non-mod settings.
I didn't sign up for this. Thank you for that, host Peach. Hey, Des? Is it okay to call you Des? Or is Spooky Wife okay?
Spooky wife?
Spooky Wife.
What would you like?
You can have whatever you like. Yeah. Okay. And we're going live. Are you ready, Puzzled?
What? I don't know, but I'm gonna be.
Eek. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of You Heard. Our book club has a couple new members, so we are super excited. We have our new member, Des Flores, and we also have Ryzen, in addition to J-Bot and the rest of the official Millennial crew. So thank you guys so much for being part of this. We hope you enjoyed Scythe, and we're going to just jump right into it. So, Puzzled. Where do we start?
That's a great question. Because this book, it was introduced to me by Crazy. And at first it was just like, okay, whatever, it's something I'll get around to. But then like everybody was trying to borrow it from him. And I was like, okay, I need to look into this. And then I finally did. We delved into the second book together, and then we waited a year and a half for the third book. So this series for me has just been an emotional roller coaster. And now we're getting to talk about it in book club, and I'm so excited.
I'm super excited too. It was a great pick, Crazy. For someone who's like, I don't read good, you picked a great book. Thank you for that lurk, Madly.
Thank you, J-Bot. It's still a work in progress, but we're getting there.
So we have some fun stuff planned for the stream. We're just going to do something a little fun.
We're going to do something just a little different, a little fun.
A little fun. If you notice that one of our awesome mods, Peach, he had added in a poll earlier about our new logo, our new look. You know, a little fresh look for You Heard, because we wanted something a little bit more book centric, and it's been great so far. So we're pretty excited. All right, so Scythe by Faraday.
Working so hard. I said thank you, NJ, for that, for working so hard.
Thank you. It was really hard. All right. Well, go ahead and kick us off. Let's talk about the plot of the book.
Okay. So the plot of the book follows these two teenagers. We have Rowan and we have Citra. They come from very different households, very different backgrounds. They are both very strong opinionated. And hold firm to their beliefs, even if they waver occasionally. Mm-hmm. But they are both chosen by a man named Scythe Faraday. The title may seem a little strange, Scythe, but that is because in this world, death does not occur naturally. They have actually figured out all of the diseases, how to put a human body back together. Heck, in this world, people even do a recreational thing called splatting, which is jumping off of buildings for the fun of it, because they can.
And this is kind of I love the way you describe the setting of this book, dystopian utopia.
It is, because they figured out everything. The people really don't want for anything. They're, instead of a government, they actually have an AI computer that oversees and watches everything, and it even interacts with people in their everyday lives. So instead of me coming to sit down at my computer and search the internet, weather, or anything like that, it would be a screen in my wall, and I would be like, hey, Thunderhead, hey, Alexa, what's the weather like today? It changes its personality to fit each person too, which I think is really cool. So the Thunderhead oversees everything except for one thing, and that is the Scythedom. Norma, you want to tell us what the Scythedom is?
So, at this point, man has, with the help of the Thunderhead, has conquered morality. You don't have illnesses. You have pain nanites in you. You can turn a corner, which means you could age and then reset your age back to be, something super low, like 25 or so. And you live for a really long time. But to deal with the population of the earth, they have what's called scythes, and scythes go around and they glean people, which is a lot nicer word than murder or straight up kill, because murder, that term is actually not really known in this world, and if it is, then it's pretty rare. The scythes are these, a collection of people amongst all the different continents. So you have, what we kind of know to be like North America, it's called like Mid-America. And you have like a whole bunch of different other countries that are kind of grouped together. And there's different scythes and different tiers of, I guess, hierarchy, I guess you could say. And they have like a code. And it's, you can't glean another scythe. You can't do, a certain set of commandments. And things ideally should be fine. So their highest of highest scythes, they actually come up with a number of people that need to be gleaned for the year. And how Scythe Faraday taught his 2 apprentices is based on statistics, which I thought was pretty interesting. It was statistics from the mortal age is how they glean people. And they can choose pretty much whatever method that they want to use to glean somebody. So it could be guns, knives, poison, etc. So that concept by itself is nuts to me. Like, they have the ability to just choose somebody to glean, and it's perfectly fine.
And that's what's really cool, I think, about the Scythes as well, is they have the freedom to do what they want while still following their code. I think the coolest way, or the coolest thing, is that the Texas Scythes, yes, Texas is its own country, they all glean with a Bowie knife, because I guess it's just the Texas way. So you have Scythe Faraday, who uses statistics to even pick his victims. Mm-hmm. So the Scythes are handed down a quota for each quarter. And it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter, with what, as long as they meet this quota. So you have Scythe Faraday, who uses statistics, and then he'll pick how each person is gleaned based on that person. He actually learns about them. He comes to care about them. And that's something that's very important to him. So, and also Scythes usually take on apprentices, but it is very rare, or this is actually the first time that a Scythe has decided to take on 2 apprentices. And so with every quarter, they have to go to the big meeting where all the Scythes come together. Conclave, thank you. Mm-hmm. They pay respects to the Scythes that self-gleaned. They pay respects to, everything. But with each conclave, there is a test for the apprentices. And so we actually get to see our 2 characters, Rowan and Citra, go to these different conclaves. And they talk to other apprentices, and they learn about other Scythes, especially famous ones. Like there's one called Madame Curie, okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. I'm just really excited too. I'm really excited.
So after Scythe goes through their tests, they actually get to choose their name, and they choose their Scythe robe. The only rule in this is that they cannot wear a black robe. That's it. That's literally the rule. So a lot of the Scythes are named after famous scientists, famous authors, famous whatever you want to call it. Because Faraday was a monk, I think, in his original time. The person, not the character in the book.
Yeah, you're right. So I love that, like Scythe Curry, she was like a really famous Scythe, almost infamous in a way. And you find this out, like how she became so famous. She actually did like a mass cleaning, which is basically a mass slaughter of the president and the cabinet, like right at the early start of like this new way of life. And it was kind of like, well, it had to be done. And she just walked away from it.
Because that's how they turned into the Scythedom. Was they got tired, or not tired, but they got fed up with their governments. So they created a whole new government with the Scythedom, and then they just went around killing governments, and that's pretty awesome. But then you also have sides. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, let's talk about like the 2 main characters, like Rowan and Citra, like kind of like their background. So like Rowan was the lettuce, Citra was like the responsible older one.
Mm-hmm. And because Rowan came from a big family, didn't really even think that he'd be missed. While Citra, her family was very close. She was kind of hesitant, they didn't really get the choice, did they? I can't remember. Did they get the choice to become an apprentice?
They did, because
Or
their family got immunity.
okay.
Really quickly, there's a poll in the chat now of who did you relate most to. Hey Peach, can you hold off on polls until we ask for the poll question? But there
For
is.
those of you who read it, that's a great time for that poll.
It is. It is. So who did you relate to most, Kielyn?
I would think Citra, just because I was kind of close with. I was interested to know the process and learning, but I was also I would be very hesitant, I would think. What about you?
So at first, I really liked Rowan. Like, I liked his confidence, and I liked how he was just kind of like letting things like roll off his shoulder, and kind of like making fun of Citra. Like, come on, dude, like, you know, you're spiraling, get over it. But as the book went on, I came to really respect Citra. Scary says, Des has a question. What is your question? Let us know. Feel free to type in the chat anytime. So Citra, you know, responsible one. She has a little brother named Ben. Her parents are her parents. And then Rowan, I did, but I forgot it. Type it in anytime, Des. Anytime.
And so I thought it was really interesting how we were able to see their progress from learning that they were going to become apprentices to the different tests that they had to go through, and, you know, not only what they did, but what they learned. As Faraday didn't just teach them, okay, this is how I find my people, and have them research fully about the people who they were going to take. He was like, you need your parameters. If we're in winter, what is the average number of people that die in winter? How do they die? And kind of like those statistics. So if there was a 4-year-old who would have accidentally fallen in a pond about this time, then unfortunately he would go to the 4-year-old and glean him. But he also made sure to teach them about fighting, about weapons, how to use different weapons, to not only their best of the ability, to also make it as painless as possible for their gleaning victim.
Pick? I don't know. How would you describe their selection? So they go through training and they learn about weapons, how to research their victims. They participate in some gleanings themselves. And then comes the first conclave.
So first, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. First conclave. No, Let's go.
I'm fuzzy on some details. So J-Bot, you're my girl in making sure I get my facts straight.
She literally finished the book today, so yes.
She always finishes it on the last day. I love it. They come together and they know that they are unusual. So they are kind of the object of interest, especially for like the other apprentices and the different Scythes. They learn that this is a huge affair that only goes on for the 12 hours. And first conclave, Ryzen, welcome. But there is one Scythe who is greatly opposed to the situation that they have going on. And this is Scythe Goddard. We had previously got a glimpse at Scythe Goddard, not really realizing who he was then, and we really don't know who he is now. But we had seen a gleaning of his early in the story of him going to a plane and just saying, cool, this is the end for y'all today. Bye. And gleaned an entire plane craft. He definitely likes his mass gleaning. And he does not like that Faraday has taken the 2 apprentices. So he gets the high high scythe,
High blade, Xenocrates.
high blade, high blade. Basically peer pressures him into no, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's okay. So what's interesting about Scythe Goddard is we found him. Yes, Des, major serial killer vibes. He definitely was. But we see him do like a mass cleaning at a mall cafeteria, basically. And it kind of comes into this one little girl who she was kind of like, her story was like, oh, my parents don't want me to eat this junk food because I'm too big, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. And then enters Scythe Goddard and his band of murderers, and they glean everybody in the cafeteria except for this little girl. And it kind of gets you wondering, like, what's the plan? Like, what's the plan here? And then the plane incident. They gleaned everybody on the plane, and one person tried to run away. But this is the type of man that Goddard is. Most Scythes wear very simple robes, like not flashy. And something that Crazy had mentioned earlier is called the old guard, right? Like the old way, the way that it was supposed to be, I guess, intended for. And Goddard and his band of goons, they have like very intricate robes, like laden, with like, just other things. Jewels, gold.
Patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree. J-Bot.
Human nature and the opportunity that Scythedom presented, statistically, there had to be Goddard. True. Definitely true.
So at this first conclave, it kind of opens up and it's like Goddard makes this, grand show of somebody accused me of being too ruthless. Like, make sure that you come up and you accuse me to my face. And then, of course, nobody says anything to him. And then, it kind of goes on the whole day. Like, other Scythes are appointed, and, Citra and Rowan are just dying. Like, I just want to get my first test over with and get the heck out of here. And what's interesting is, oh, thank you, Unholy. Appreciate that. You too. Something that's interesting with the Scythes, scary, is you're like, man, like, it would be so weird to like just see somebody straight up get murdered right in front of you. It was kind of like a show. Like, these people splat, like, just jump off of buildings and splat, and then they get carried to a revival center. So like, death to them was a spectacle, and something that didn't really happen all that time.
And Barry mentioned he's just going to stay in his house. Well, you're not really safe in your house either, because a Scythe, that's actually how he met Citra, was he had come to glean her neighbor, and he went into her home and waited for her there. But to real quick on the society and their viewpoint of the Scythes was they definitely revered them. They always saw them as like a step above them, as like a royalty. And so people would try to give them jewels, money, clothes, food, in hopes that they would not be gleaned in turn. Because the Scythes also had this really cool thing, which was their ring, their Scythe ring. And if one were to kiss, or I think even just touch it, they would actually have immunity from gleaning for a full year. And
Everybody
usually as a
sorry, go ahead.
Usually as a reward, if a family had a member that was gleaned, then the Scythe would go to the family and give them immunity for a year, so that they could, deal with that death and then go on. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was like, yeah, they were kind of like royalty too, but people were like thirsty for that immunity. Like, oh man, like I'm invincible for a whole year, basically. Like nothing can touch me, which I thought was pretty interesting. But anyway, back to the conclave. So it's Rowan and Citra's first test, and they both fail. But Citra was going to fail regardless. And I think Rowan probably would have passed his test, but in solidarity with Citra, he purposely failed. So what did you think about that?
This was the fight, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm mad about it. No, this was the question. The first one was the question. J-Bot?
Oh, yes. What's the worst thing you've ever done? That was the first conclave. My bad. And Citra straight up lied, and I don't know. It was some like dumb lie that she came up with.
Yeah.
We're like,
it's either she didn't want to admit it to them, or she didn't want to admit it to herself.
I think it's that. No. I don't think she was ready to admit that to anybody.
No. Would you? Would you be able to?
She had a
honestly say the worst you've ever done.
She had a total Mean Girls moment. She pushed that girl in front of the bus just to do it. Like
just to see what happened.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could say like the worst thing I've ever done. Like, because for one, it's shame, right? And then two, it's like, yeah, like maybe I'm not such a good person. Like maybe I'm not fit out to be a Scythe. Like maybe that's what Citra was kind of battling with. Plus, like you have to think like these are kids, you know, like they're in their late teens, and you know they haven't really fully developed or really understood things the way that adults do. You'd be nonchalant. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Nonchalant.
So with this conclave, we get to see Madame Curie, and we get to know a little bit more about her.
And we've kind of heard of her because with each chapter, they give a journal post of either Scythe Faraday, Scythe Goddard, or Scythe Curie.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of seen a little bit of her, but this is when we really get to see her. And she no longer has the fire that she had when she first started.
Yeah, she's not. Peach, can you post poll question number 2, please?
Thank you. And eventually we learn after the conclave, something sad happens. Scythe Faraday leaves to go on a gleaning, and he does not return. So unfortunately,
wait a second. What? We missed an important part. So Goddard was furious that he had taken on 2 apprentices and basically said, like, it's not fair that you have 2 apprentices, so something needs to be done about it. And they basically decided and voted in the moment that whoever receives the apprenticeship from Faraday would actually have to glean the other apprentice. So they had 2 more tests to pass after this, 2 other conclaves. And it was like a total spiral moment. Like to me, like my gut just like felt like that wasn't like their original, I guess, understanding of the apprenticeship. They were told they could go back to their normal lives if they didn't get chosen. And then for it to be just like the carpet completely pulled under the rug for them. I don't know how I would have reacted in that moment. Especially like to Ryzen's point, they didn't want it anyway.
Yeah, because, if you don't make it, then you don't make it. Like, no big deal. But now to be told that, either you make it or you're going to die. Like, that's frustrating, Mm-hmm. It's like you can't even back out at that point just to save yourself or the other person.
So Des says, I thought a Scythe kept their word. So when Faraday said they'll go back to their life, like, why wasn't that upheld? Exactly, Des. Like, that's my point exactly. Like, like, it was wrong. It was totally wrong. But we learn a little bit why the Highblade, Xenocrates, was pressured into making that decision in favor of Goddard in just a little bit. So, first conclave is over, and then a shocking thing happens. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so probably a month or two after the conclave, Faraday goes out to do a gleaning, and unfortunately, he does not return. Scythes come to collect Citra and Rowan and say that they are now, they will now be taught by a different side, because Faraday has been found and he has been self-gleaned. So when a Scythe self-gleans, either accidentally or on purpose, unfortunately, that is the end for them. And so to learn that Scythe Faraday has self-gleaned is really upsetting for both Citra and Rowan, because they have built very personal relationships with him. He has been fair. He has tried to keep his word. So now Citra is going to study under Scythe Curie, while Rowan, can anybody guess who he goes to apprentice under?
Dun, dun, dun. Our favorite serial killer. The person we love to hate. Goddard, exactly. Oh, which...
And Rowan is not happy about this. Like, he does not want to go to Goddard. He's already... Like, Rowan is so smart, and he's very sharp. So he's already putting these pieces together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Goddard starts training him pretty freaking hard. It's really physical. It's, demanding, and in the midst of like different little parties here and there, like 3-day parties. Goddard and his goons is the only way I can describe them, honestly, like his little entourage. They actually commandeered a mansion from a family. So basically, when a Scythe wants something, you can't really refuse them. So they take over this mansion, and they allow the family to stay as servants. So they're in this big ass house, you're hanging out, having a blast, a bunch of people who are professional party goers, which that was a pretty interesting concept to me.
Sorry. I just remembered who was at the party.
Yeah. Yeah. So Goddard used this sharpened steel method. Yes, definitely he did. Turns off his healing nanites, has him experience real pain, has him glean like up to, I think, 11 people out of 12, and always stop short at that 12th person. He always sets these little goals for him to glean, but he has to leave one person alive. And I think, honestly, that was more so for control. So we find out at one of these parties, he has Xenocrates shows up, the Highblade. So, like, why is the Highblade here at Goddard's party, where he obviously doesn't agree with his lifestyle? A Scythe that takes whatever he wants when he wants it. He is very vocal in his community, saying, well, why can't we enjoy what we do? A Scythe, from Faraday's point of view, like, it's a somber event. Like, it's an event that, you have to kind of celebrate their life and the end of their life. But to Goddard, it was just a killing festival. So anyway, Xenocrates comes to visit him, and we find out why he took the little girl from the cafeteria. That little girl is the illegitimate child of Xenocrates, because Scythes are not supposed to be in relationships. Much like a Jedi. Yeah, much like a Jedi, not supposed to be in a relationship. And he kind of taunts, Xenocrates a little bit and tells him, jump in the pool. And Xenocrates is like, nah. And he was literally about to kill the little girl. The little girl has no idea, by the way, that Xenocrates is her father. And he jumps in the pool, but he has so much gold on his robes that he literally sinks to the bottom of the pool, and he has to be rescued before he drowns, which could be considered a self-gleaning because he jumped in the pool.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's what was, because Rowan witnessed this, and it was through this interaction that he puts together that the little girl is Xenocrate's daughter, and he sees him jump into the pool, and he's like, wait a minute, he's not going to be able to jump out. So he actually jumps in to save the High Blade, which kudos to him. Doesn't know what's going on, just realized there's a lot of politics, but a man is a bad guy who wasn't trying to.
To say I can make you do anything. Absolutely. It was a total flex, Des. Like he's saying, like, I can do whatever I want. I have the leverage. This is what it is. So let's fast forward to, or wait, did you have anything else before we get to the second conclave? Oh, Citra.
Yeah. So Citra goes, right, Citra at this point. She goes to study under Madame Curie, and she learns that Madame Curie, she doesn't really do statistics for her gleaning. She does have her own process. I can't remember what it is at this moment. But after every gleaning, she always invites the family to her house, provides means for them to travel, and she sits down and has a dinner with them as a way to respect the one that she has gleaned. So Citra is learning, a whole different style than what she did under Faraday. And I honestly think she appreciates this style very much, because she realized that while Curie has nice things, they are given to her, but she doesn't flaunt it. She doesn't go out of her way asking for anything. Yes, I love Madame Curie does.
Yes, scary. Whenever a Scythe gets their name, they get to rebrand themselves, and she chose Marie Curie, the scientist that did a lot of work with radioactive materials.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I was like, she was radiation poisoning, wasn't she?
It was, yeah. So Citra, I mean, Rowan didn't really care about his family too much, because he described himself as the lettuce, like not even the good part of the sandwich, like not the bread, not the meat, not the cheese, the lettuce of the family. So to him, like, his, I guess, distance from his family didn't really bother him all that much. Like, he had a chance to not be the lettuce anymore. He had a chance to be the whole enchilada. With Citra, who was pretty close to her family, she started noticing the strain. Like, they don't really understand her. They're a little bit fearful of her, and it's just a really weird dynamic now. So she knows that either way, if she gets the Scythe ring, or if she does doesn't get the apprenticeship at all, then she's gonna die either way. So she starts putting that distance there. So I want to pass this question to the chat, and this isn't a poll question that we had, but what did you guys think about, like, do you think that you would be able to continue a relationship with your family if you became a Scythe?
I think a lot of that depends on the family, mm-hmm. and how close you are already. Because once their year of immunity is up, any other Scythe can come in and glean them.
I don't think I would. I think, for one, like, the way that, like, for example, whenever... Actually, no. Just kidding. That's the next book. I knew I would do this. I knew I would blur storylines. I just think it would be really awkward. I would want to say yes.
But after the first year, it'd probably end up being no. Mm-hmm. Because you're going to be a totally different person by that time. Different cares, different worries, different the way you carry yourself even.
They're actually not, Ryzen. It's only for a year that they were. Oh wait, no, I think he's right. Jbot, tell us. I can't, I can't remember. Is it forever? I thought it was just for a year.
I thought it was just a year as well.
Yeah, for as long. Oh yeah, that's right. For as long as you live, your family's protected. I still don't.
Wow.
I still don't think I would continue a relationship with my family because I feel like expectations would be there, like, oh, like, go give your grandmother immunity or whatever the case may be.
Then if they have immunities, then I think I would be able, or I would hope I would be able to keep a relationship with them. Because that's got to be, it's a lonely job. You're not really able to tell your burdens to anybody. That's why they keep journals. But it's really going to depend on your family if they can, especially in that type of society, if they can accept you.
So while all this is going on, Citra starts looking in the back brain of the Thunderhead to try to retrace Faraday's steps to see if he was actually gleaned. She, at the second conclave, she makes a comment to Rowan, and she basically insinuates that Goddard is the one that was behind Faraday's slaying. And from there, Goddard actually arranges with Xenocrates because remember, he has that leverage for them to kind of pin the murder of Faraday on Citra. So she's going to go get arrested. She has no other option. So what does she do? She throws herself off a fucking cliff. She splats. 100% she splats. And whenever the Scythe guard went to go collect her, the Thunderhead, what are they called? I forget.
So real quick, because the Scythes are pretty much their own form of government, the Thunderhead has absolutely no jurisdiction over them. He cannot talk to them. He cannot respond to your, hey, Thunderhead, how's the weather today? And the only way they can access information is by going into the back head of the Thunderhead. So when she splats and Blade Guard comes to collect her, once she starts repairing herself, she is kind of in a limbo position. And so the Thunderhead actually uses this loophole to his advantage by giving her a name. Is that?
Yeah. So what happens is that the Scythes are trying to take Citra and say, like, yep, this is our jurisdiction, you guys don't have anything here. And they're like, no, like, we're here to take her to the revival center. Like, she's technically dead. She's an apprentice. She's not a Scythe at all. So we're taking her. And they take her to, like, I think it was like South America, what we know as South America. And while she's in this like coma type of thing, the Thunderhead starts talking to her. This sentient internet, basically, this AI, finds this loophole, so smart, and talks to her while she's, coming, I don't want to say coming back to life, but healing. And basically is like, I know stuff, but I can't directly tell you because it interferes, but I can give you a name. So he gives her a name, and she is revived. So then what happens after that?
So once she is revived, she realizes that she is with Madame Curie in, Chile, Argentine. And Scythe Curie says that the Blade Guards are after them because of Goddard.
Yeah, they think that she killed Faraday.
Okay. Oh, yes, because they found a journal passage of his that talks about a girl who looks at him longingly that brings his milk to him every night. This is something that he has his apprentices do. And he says, if I am dead, it is going to be her. She is the reason I am killed. And so this ultimately points to Citra as the number one, because she's his apprentice. She brings him his milk, and now he has ended up passed. And so basically Madame Curie just tells her to run. They jump in a car.
She jumps in a car. So they ended up, she's like basically like limped out of this revival center with Curie, and they go to like, I guess it's like a sympathizer, I guess you could say. And basically like the Blade Guard's coming, Citra ends up throwing herself into an auto car, which drives itself, by the way. And she has a name and an address for the name that the Thunderhead had given her. So she goes to the address.
And in her travels to the address, she jumps from car to car so that the people can't track her as easily. She jumps on trains, and she actually meets a few people of a cult that's in this society. What is the cult's name?
Tonist.
Oh my goodness. Huh?
The Tonist.
The Tonists. Now, in this world, they pretty much don't really have religion, any sort of belief system. So the Tonists are the only type of religion.
Basically hippies.
And they're basically hippies. They live very natural. They live away from the Thunderhead as much as they can. And they're waiting for the great tone, the great toll. So that's a lot of fun later down the road. But it was interesting to see actions with them on the train. They actually even help hide her until she's able to get to her stop. So she gets to the stop, and all that she knows is that what the Thunderhead told her, that this is the man who killed Scythe Faraday. So she is ready to go in, guns a-blazing, fuck you up, and who opens the door?
Faraday.
Chat. You know.
So, yeah.
Opens the door. The name that she had been given was his birth name. So technically, yes, this man killed Scythe Faraday because they are one and the same. Exactly
right. And it was technically true. So while this is going on, they basically prove in one way or another that, Madame Curie takes care of it, like the boss bitch that she is. We love her. She's like, no, like, we've already known that me and Faraday had a little tryst, which, by the way, were you guys surprised? I was not surprised. And it was about her. So, it's like super embarrassing. The Scythedom does not know that Faraday is alive. And I think they're starting to look for his killer at this point. Like, who is it really? They got busy. I liked it though.
I thought it was a definite plot twist to learn that the journal entry was that she had been apprenticed to him and working with him, and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask my own poll question? Sure, Peach, go for it. I'm sure Curie got that good. That good. I love that they fell in love too. And honestly, like, they had such good morals, and they understood like what it was to be a Scythe, to me at least. So I thought that they were cute together. I was sad they couldn't be together.
So while all of this is happening with Scythe, Rowan is still with Goddard. He is still training. And Goddard has about 4 people in his circle that he travels with. One of them, Rowan, has really gotten to know. because these people, they are the new guard. They are flashy. They love killing. They flaunt it. And Rowan figures out that one of the guys in Goddard's circle, he's there, but not all the way. Like, he likes the flashy stuff, but he doesn't really like killing like this. So you finally get to see somebody who has Faraday and Curie equals Rowan and Citra. Aw, yes.
Get cute. Yeah, Volta was a unique character. Like, you can tell that he didn't like what he was doing, but he was like, I don't want to be just another person. I want to be like Goddard. Like, I want to have that level of air that doesn't really care. But you can tell that he saw something in Rowan, like, if anybody can get out of this, it's going to be you. So I'm not sure where to go from here because there's a lot to unpack about this particular. You want to talk about the Tonist?
I would say, does the Tonist happen before or after the conclave?
It's before the third conclave.
Before the third conclave. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about the Tonist.
This part was really difficult for me. So Rowan goes with Goddard and his team of goons, and they go to a Tonist, like a church, basically, like a compound. And they do a mass gleaning of all these Tonists. So Tonists, like, hate Scythes. Like, they think they're unnatural. Like, it's not good at all. And there's always, like, beef between them two. And they just chose a Tonist compound to completely glean. And Rowan had enough.
Rowan sees what everybody's doing. He's been given orders to glean as many as he can. He comes across rooms with children. And then he comes across bodies. And someone from somewhere brought a fucking flamethrower. And so they're just going around and burning all these bodies. And Rowan and Goddard get to have a showdown in the main chapter.
Before that happens, though, Rowan finds Volta. Volta straight up slits his wrists, can't take it. Like, he self-gleans right on the spot. He doesn't want anything to do with it. The trauma, the immediate trauma that happens to him, which to me was these people are immortal, but it kind of showed me that they still had their humanity. The trauma from that, like, was too much. It broke him. And when Rowan saw this, he snapped as well. And the showdown happened. So it's like the final countdown. Yeah.
And it's intense. I just remember them throwing major, insults at each other. And is it a sword fight?
I don't remember. I was reading so fast. I was like, I need to get like, what happens?
I was like, I need to reread this. It's been a year. But we're going to go ahead and do long story short. Rowan cuts Goddard's head off. He decapitates the son of a bitch. And I think we were all cheering at this part.
So
how their showdown went down.
Yeah. How it happened. So Rowan had grabbed the flamethrower, and after everything had gone down, like, he straight up, like, went on a spree, and he killed every single one of his goons. And when it got to Goddard, he does drive through him with a knife. And then he uses a flamethrower to set everything ablaze. Because what's a way that Scythes or just basically anybody can't come back at all? Like, they can't be revived? Fire and acid. So he used that to his advantage. They all perish, basically. He stole Goddard's robes and his ring and took the fuck off. He was like, I'm out of here. And then there was a question of like, well, what happened? Was it the fire that got out of control and then they all died? Was there something more here? And one thing that wasn't really clear to me, maybe I was reading this part too fast, is like, how did Rowan explain where he was?
I remember him talking to the fire chief, but I can't remember what they were saying. Just, they decided to all self-glean.
He said he was waiting outside. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
He was his front door watcher. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys.
Thank you guys.
Just finished the book. So, you know, he ends up taking off, and then it's pretty much time for the third conclave. So Citra's back from being accused of murder. Rowan is like in this weird limbo state, and the third conclave is full of like just aggression, like, oh, like these poor Scythes, like we should never have flamethrowers, blah blah blah, we're gonna ban them. And there's like a lot of like it's basically like a Congress hall, like, to me. It's like I feel like there's a bunch of them and they're all arguing with each other. And then the third test is something I didn't expect, actually.
So the third test is basically what ultimately says whether or not you can be a Scythe. If you don't pass this, you don't make it. And they are taken into a room. They've heard some gunshots, but they don't really know what's going on. And once they're taken in there, there's 3 judges in front of them. Mm-hmm. And a member of their family sitting across the room tied to a chair. Laid out in front of them on a table is different knives, different guns, different assortments of killing, of ways to glean. And their final test is to... Oh, did I freeze? Am I okay?
Yeah, it froze like for just a quick second.
Okay, well... Their final test is to glean their family member. For Rowan, it was one of his sisters. And for Citra, it was her little brother. Shoot your dog. I couldn't. Mom. His mom. Okay. So this was a heartbreaking moment, because first you're told that your family is going to have immunity for the year. And now to become a Scythe, you have to kill your family member. It's a mindfuck. Yeah.
So they, I want to talk about Citra and how she kind of gleaned. So it was her brother Ben, and he's scared. He's a little guy, and I mean, like, I'm a mom and I have a little one, so I'm just like, I can't imagine putting my kid through that. Like, that makes me like really scared for him. So Citra is kind of like, oh, like, could we, like, I don't want to do this. This is wrong. And the way that she gleans Ben is a place that I felt was very compassionate. You know, like, she calmed him down, was like, no, this isn't going to hurt. It will hurt a little bit, but then it'll be fine after that. And the judges were kind of arguing like, well, she took too long, and, you know, the way she did it wasn't great. But the other judges were kind of swayed by the compassion that she showed Ben. So Des says, me too, NJ. I think it made it easier, though, knowing he was going to be revived. She asked why this was the test as a legit question. I think that was important to her. So,
and
sorry.
I think one of the reasons she was able to go through with it was because she figured out that he would be revived, because they weren't told that they would be. They were basically told, you know, you're gonna glean. That's it. So I think in a way she kind of knew, and that was how she was able to get through it. But Rowan, he was a glean and he showed more feelings.
So I think what Ryzen's saying is like, oh, he caught on really quickly. So he's like, let's just do it. And then if he knew it was a glean, like he would, show more empathy.
Yeah. So, but it was a heartbreaking. I don't think I'm that clever that I would have figured it out. I would have thought, oh, you're really asking me to, glean a family member. That's not going to happen. Because, I have my 4-year-old brother. Like, I don't think that I could.
Oh, yeah, that was like a critical part, J-Bot. He was like, had this notion in his head that he was going to die regardless. Like, he was going to just let Citra do her thing. And to me, like, I'm somebody who's very competitive, like, just naturally. You ask Peach, like, I'm like, don't let me win. Like, don't let me win. Like, I want to beat you on my own merit. And I think Citra was the same way, like, don't let me win. And she proved that in the second conclave when she kind of held back some of her punches in the fight. So anyway, so they do their test and, everything's fine. Their family members are taken to the revival centers to be revived. And then now it's time to choose the Scythe. Who would get the ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how nervous were you guys? Like, did you think that it was going to be Citra? Like, I knew it was going to be Citra. Like, I was just had a feeling it was going to be her, but I also knew that Rowan wasn't going to die either.
And it was like Citra was able to see the better side of the Scythedom, where Rowan had seen the underbelly. And he knew what dangers were growing and festering. Mm-hmm. And I think at that point, he didn't want to Scythe for that. Wow. Go y'all, able to pass the final apprentice test. So he was already done with the Scythedom because he understood that it had basically become a facade.
Mm-hmm.
Facade?
Facade. I had to think about it for a second. Words hard. So, after Citra is chosen, she picks her name, which is Scythe Anastasia, for like Anastasia Romanov from the Romanov family in Russia. And she kind of defends her choice, like, this is my name. And then she has to glean Rowan. And Citra, ever so clever, goes to punch him. And what does she have on her finger? Her ring. Connects with his mouth, about to do the final blow, and it's a wait. She has given Rowan immunity.
Yes. Girl power. That's how you are, boys.
So they're like, we're just going to lock him up for the year and then we'll murder him, whenever, or we'll glean him, whenever his year is done. But then what happened, like, to cause like a spectacle for Rowan to get away? I can't remember that part. I was like shook. I was like, yeah, Citra, get it, girl. Or did he just run out?
I want to say he just ran. Oh, he did. He ran out, and Faraday was waiting outside the Citadel with a car so that they could drive off.
Oh my gosh, Des, you were so right. When Rowan says "I love you," and she says it like, "Yeah, I love you too," but it's like, "Yeah, me too." Yeah, he bolted out of their kicking ass. And what's crazy is like Goddard really trained him well. Like, he was physically in his prime. He was a killing machine. They did not have a fucking chance against him. So I think Goddard kind of brought on his own demise there. So he ends up like, oh, what, Faraday, you're alive? Because he doesn't know this yet. And then they and then they take off. What happens after that? Like, I can't even, like, that was like the major plot point.
I think it does end there. Or no, we kind of see a little bit of excerpt, and we see that Scythe Luther. He was introduced in the first book, right? I've already seen a couple of people mention him.
Yeah, if you didn't read the excerpt, there's a Scythe that is called Scythe Lucifer, who wears black, killing other Scythes that are questionable.
Yeah, so he basically goes around, looks for the bad ones like Goddard, and yes, does. He becomes a vigilante, the Punisher, taking
Batman.
on the Black Robe. Huge no. And then we're able to see Scythe Anastasia accept her ring, accept her name, and even accept her robe, which was a blue turquoise, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was turquoise. Her brother, when she asked her brother, he said turquoise, so that's the one that she did.
That's awesome.
So
what color do you?
What color would you pick, Puzzled? J-Bot says beige. Ryzen says teal. Peach says that he's Rowan.
I would probably do like a heavy purple one. Not like heavy as in weight, but like heavy as in the color, like a color heavy. I did draw a cloak just from a little trace drawing, but I don't know where that is. I'm not gonna. What about you?
Well, if you join our Discord, Puzzle will post that in the You Heard discussions. I think you already posted it. I'm not sure. No. But yes. So I would do like a deep emerald like color, like a deep forest color, and with like not gold trim, but like gold-ish trim. I think that would be like kind of, it's elevated, but not like too flashy.
I love it.
Love it. So, yes. Will you guys continue the series? I have already read the second book, which is The Thunderhead, and I am enthralled, and I cannot wait to read the third book, The Toll. So, will you guys be reading the next book? For sure, yes.
We have the turquoise and the black.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Thunderhead. I'm not gonna really say anything. Just that, you know, we've seen the excerpts from the journals of the Scythe. This time in the Thunderhead, it does focus a little bit more on how it works. And instead of those excerpts from the journals, we actually get excerpts from the Thunderhead's thoughts, which is really interesting, especially in our current society where we have a lot of AI, to kind of see what our AIs could transfer into. But for Scythe, our favorite question that everybody loves, who would you cast in this movie? We've seen a couple of answers from some people already. I'd love to hear everybody's answers. NJ, let's hear yours first.
So the Thunderhead isn't so much living as it is sentient. Like, it's very logical, it's intelligent, it weighs the statistics and probability of an outcome of something, and it has eyes everywhere. But yes, J-Bot, you're right, it's not able to have malice. So my picks for casting, if we made this into a movie right now, and you guys throw in your responses into the chat and we'll talk about it. So Citra, who would we cast as Citra? Hold on a second. I'm trying to find my.
Citra's so hard.
Oh, I said Zendaya. I don't think she really fits the role, but Zendaya does kick ass, though. I can kind of see her being that.
Zendaya could do almost any role we put her in.
That's
she
true.
is flexible. She's down to earth. She's grounded. So we love putting her in our favorite characters.
Yeah, that's true. A redhead as Citra? Ooh.
Oh my, she would be perfect.
Who?
Sansa Stark.
Maybe.
What?
I like it. Peach Zendaya was in Spider-Man Homecoming, and she was also she stars in Euphoria.
The Greatest Showman. Dude, I love it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Rowan. Who would you cast as Rowan?
I love your Rowan.
Noah Centineo.
Mm-hmm.
So Noah Centineo was on All the Boys I Loved Before, and I just found out before we went live, he was also in The Fosters. So I really like Rowan for Noah Centineo.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not like I can see him being like physically fit, like have that boyish charm kind of, but then also have like the serious side to him.
That's the only, like, I love Noah, but I don't really see him as the edginess, because with Rowan, you're going to have to be a little edgy. And Noah's very boy next door for me. And same thing with Tom Holland.
Same.
He did a great job in The Devil in Us, I think is what he was. And we got to see a really good side of him. But they're both, for me, they're still just missing that edginess, that blackness, that darkness that Rowan had.
Peach says Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things. He's Mike. Ooh. I have to see him. I have to see him now because he's like older. Like, you know, like he's too young in Stranger Things, basically. Paul Bettany from Priest. Haley Steinfeld. I don't know who that is. Hold on a second. Let me pull up a picture.
Right, I'm having a Google. Isn't that Vision?
Oh, she's cute. Oh yeah, she was in Pitch Perfect.
Oh, was she the one? She was wonderfully awkward.
Adam Driver, crazy for Rowan. If he was a little bit younger, I think like if it.
And that's like
a future, like if he was a little bit younger, I would like to see him. She was in the bubble, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about Faraday. So J-Bot says Paul Bettany, who is Vision from WandaVision in the Marvel universe. That's a great cast. J-Bot, I like that. I had said for Faraday it would be either Sir Ian McKellen or I had a second one. I don't remember who my second guy was.
It was somebody that Ryzen talked about, I think.
Yeah, like I picture him like, I don't know, like a not really an attractive older male. They're in their 60s. So like Faraday and Curry are a little bit up there. They haven't reset yet. Someone older. Yeah, for sure. For Curie, I have a couple of options.
So real quick, for Faraday, I thought about an Americanized Michael Caine.
I like that. And then also, you said another person, right? That was in True Grit and what was his name? Jeff Bridges.
Yes, you posted him for High Blade.
High Blade.
For
Oh, wait. Xenocrates.
Xenocrates.
I can see Xenocrates that way. Okay, so for Curie, oh, Liam Nelson for Faraday. Ooh, I like that. I can see that. I can definitely see that. I have Sigourney Weaver or Diane Keaton for Madame Curie, only because of the style. Like, Madame Curie is like flawless, right? Diane Keaton, always known for her fashion, especially in white and polka dots, but just white in general. And Sigourney Weaver is a fucking idol. Like, she's a queen. She would be an awesome Madame Curie.
Oh my god. And Ryzen's over here throwing out a white-haired Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That would have been a great cast. Mm-hmm.
I also thought Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
For Madame Curie.
Mm-hmm. Who played the leader of District 13 in Hunger Games? I picture her. Jennifer Lawrence?
No, District 13.
Oh, District 13.
President Coin?
I think that's right. Peach also says Maggie Smith for Curry. I think Maggie Smith is just a little bit too like a little. She was a little bit younger, maybe.
Julianne Moore. That's leader District 13.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie Smith. Yeah, but where Maggie, like, even at the beginning of the Harry Potters, she's still just a little bit over that age bracket where I would see Curie.
Yeah. All right. So Goddard. I actually didn't have anybody for Goddard. I would imagine Goddard, he's very vain, so he's probably like he reset to like he's either late 20s or early 30s. William Dafoe would be my Goddard. No, I would think that Goddard would be somebody. I mean, I get what you're saying, Ryzen, because of Boondock Saints, but I don't know who would be a good Goddard.
I want someone who has that.
Yeah, he just has like the presence, like
the charisma.
Mm-hmm. Hear me out. The man himself.
Oh my god.
Which man? Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise is nuts. I wouldn't want to see him in a movie. Just kidding.
It is so hard for me to watch a Tom Cruise movie. Just personally, I don't love him. Tell us, crazy.
I don't know.
Who's somebody who's really charismatic that you'd love to see just kind of go mental?
George? Like
of the Jungle?
Like a Brandon Fraser? I wouldn't be mad at that, actually.
I'd love to see Brandon Fraser. Yeah, we would probably put Goddard at like in his late 30s and his 40s, because for a lot of people, that's their prime. Clooney. We've seen George Clooney go crazy in Spy Kids 3.
Christian Bale. No, not James Franco. I think James Franco has too much of like
boyish.
Yeah, too boyish. Like not psycho enough, I guess you could say. I would consider
this is wild. What about Tobey Maguire?
I hate that. I don't know. Tobey Maguire. I can kind of see it.
Because I just saw Andrew Garfield. I was like, who else?
Yeah, who else? I can see Ryzen like James Franco, because wasn't he a villain in a Spider-Man movie?
William Dafoe.
Oh.
He acted He was James Franco's dad.
I got it. The best Goddard. Oh God. No, that
I'm
was
here
so.
for this. This is my
Peach,
favorite debate.
quit being a troll. William Dafoe was the Hobgoblin. Okay, we're not getting sidetracked here, guys. But I could kind of see James Franco maybe in some sort of villain role. Colin Farrell. Ooh, maybe.
Let me get face to that name.
He was in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see him being like that.
He has the charm. He can go crazy. All right, guys, let's move on. So, who would you cast? Okay, two more. The Highblade, Xenocrates. I said Jeff Bridges. Oh wait, I just thought of another good one for Faraday. He may be too old though. Sam Elliott. Or Sam Elliott would be a total Texan Scythe, I think.
Yes, like him as the Highblade of the Texas.
The Highblade of Texas. All right, so some questions that we have for you guys. And if you have any more castings, definitely put them in the chat. But we have a couple of discussion questions that were on our website. And Kielyn, did you want to go through all the questions or just kind of pick through a couple of them?
Let's see. Go over the questions again. So this is one of my favorite questions, actually. So we've talked about the different approaches to performing the work of Scythes. Did anybody like a particular approach, or, just what are your thoughts on, if you were a Scythe, how would you pick your victims, those to be gleaned, or what kind of methods would you use to glean? I think it's a great discussion question.
I think so too. I would want to go kind of like Curie's way too, Ryzen, and just be, I don't know, do it with the utmost compassion.
And see, I feel like I lean towards Scythe Faraday. It's so hard to pick. Why not just let it be a statistical? Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Using the statistics to kind of figure it out. And if there was ever a time where I was like, I don't want to use this statistic today, you could always move on to a different one. But, kind of researching it out like that and using it victim per or a gleaner, to be gleaned versus to be gleaned.
So it's Faraday thinks really logically in terms of statistics, and Curie kind of feels more in the emotional side, where's the light in their eyes? Are you living just to live? What would you do? And honestly, another part of that question is what do you find, more or less ethical? What I find not ethical at all is mass slaughterings. I think they're violent. They're awful. People are scared. It's terrible. I personally was very shocked to see a lot of mass slaughterings being something that was okay by a lot of other Scythes.
Yeah, I don't think I could do any sort of mass. But of course, there are always going to be those people and personality types where that's what they're going to be drawn to. That's all I really have to say about that.
Goddard was the new age depiction of a sociopath. Like, can I take you out quickly before you even realize, or can I come to your house? Hey, I'm here to kill you. I agree, Ryzen. I think that 100%. You know, like, I like the way that Curie did it because it felt more natural. You know, like, we never know when death is going to come for us, and you know, it felt like quick. You know, like it wasn't something they had to fear or be scared about. I definitely do it the way Curie did too. Exactly.
And Faraday is very logical about it, but also because he talks to them about what's happening or what's going to happen, I feel like that's very an emotional, intimate moment to have with somebody.
So if you were a Scythe, what name would you choose for yourself?
Go ham. Oh my goodness.
Go ham.
I don't know, because Anastasia's already taken. I would probably pull it from either one of my fairy tale retellings or, you know, some sort of Disney name. I'd probably be Scythe Belle or something. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be cute. You little bookworm. Ryzen says Scythe Azrael. That's a really nice name. I would go with like something like Scythe Sotomayor, like girl power.
Get it.
Scythe Turing. I'm not sure who that Archangel of Death makes sense. Yeah, so think about that, guys. Think about what your name would be and drop it in the chat, because sometimes you can't really just come up with it, you know, the top of your head. It's like you forget every other name that ever existed when somebody asks you a question like that. So take your time. What's our next discussion question? Scythe Callie. Ooh, I like that.
So the next one is probably going to be really interesting to see how people respond to it. The Thunderhead is presented as a benevolent AI and plays an unexpected role in this story. What did you guys make? How did you like the Thunderhead? How did you dislike the Thunderhead? And do y'all have any predictions for the next book, considering that it is named after her? She's the Hindu goddess of death, Scythe Callie. Ooh,
Scythe Sakura.
Like
Oh, I like that too. All right. So I know that we were introduced to the Thunderhead, obviously, by it speaking to Citra, and we know that it's sentient. But this wasn't a software like parenting or anything like that. It was its true form speaking to her. So I think that we will see in the Thunderhead how it came to be and kind of like its inner workings. Like if it's finding loopholes like that, what other loopholes has it found, right? And I actually did finish the Thunderhead, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm trying not to blur the storylines together too much. But if you are thinking about reading the second book, absolutely give it a read. It is so good. What did you think about the Thunderhead after you finished the first book, Puzzled?
I kind of love the ideas of the Thunderhead. Both in concept and the way it was utilized. I think, you know, it knew better than any one human on how to run a government or a country or an area. It was able to see everything, predict everything. And because like if somebody splatted, they would... It wasn't the people on the street who called to have the medics come get them. It was the Thunderhead. He would dispatch them. And one thing we'll kind of see, but I'm not going to go into, are those who are criminals in this dystopian utopia.
Unsavories.
The unsavories. So if you do enough, You are the pariah in your society, and the Thunderhead no longer speaks to you. The Thunderhead will no longer respond to you. What's the weather today? You have to go into the back end of it and use it like an old-fashioned computer.
J-Bot, I don't think that the Thunderhead has a sex per se. It can manipulate itself to whatever form like is comfortable. Like it's an it. Like, let's just be honest. It's not male or female biologic in any way. It's, you know, an omnipresent being. I don't know.
So you can have any, be like Siri I changed her voice to an Australian. Who wouldn't?
My Siri is a British dude. Oh, and you can change Alexa's name too, right, J-Bot? You were telling me that the other night. You had it to be, was it Idris Elba that you were talking about? I would love that to be Alexa's voice, by the way.
Yes, J-Bot, same. But we will say this. If you are thinking about the Thunderhead and even finishing out the series, please go ahead and do so. We have some exciting announcements coming up in the next month or so. So be on the lookout for that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. Guys, if you're a sub to the official Millennials channel, we are going to do more for you. So stick around, stay tuned. The best way to keep in touch with anything book club related is either Twitter at OM_YaHeard or on Discord in our YaHeard discussion channel. So be sure that you join our Discord. Be sure that you check us out on Twitter. And we will post our next book for book club on the website tomorrow. But I will tell you what it's about today. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for next book club? We had thought about like, oh, should we advance the series or should we go on with another book? And we decided to go on with another series or another book in general, in case somebody else had wanted to join book club. Then they would have to read 2 books to catch up. All right. Thank you, Pete, for all those shout outs. What a fantastic mod. Give it to me. I need it. All right. So our next book is called Delirium. And it's also part of a series. So I'm sorry to get you guys hooked on another series. But it's by Lauren Oliver. So this is a little bit similar to the theme that we were reading this past month. What if love was a disease? And what if man figured out how to eradicate the feeling of love? Interesting concept. So this book shows kind of the story of one person in particular. And I'm just getting into it in myself. Like, I haven't finished a book yet. But at age 18, they get cured. And what the cure does is that they remove their feelings to love other people or love things in general. They get matched with their job. They get matched with, their husband or wife, given their social background and whatever not. And this one story follows this girl whose path has always been to get cured and not be ashamed. But the day that she goes for a consult or a review where they can place her once they cure her, literally a herd of cows goes stampeding through this lab and she meets a boy. And that's all I'm going to say that.
This sounds like a very adult version of The Giver.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay. I love that. I love The Giver. Is beautiful series. So this sounds very exciting. I'd love to see kind of a more adult version of it.
Yeah. I love The Giver, and I would totally be I need to read the quartet. I have it. I've had it for like 3 years and I haven't read it yet. But Delirium is really good so far. I'm really liking it. I think you guys are gonna like it too. There's some things like some writing styles that I'm like, like, you know, like how do you follow up Scythe? Like it's such a great book. And puzzled, hats off for picking that one. But I think you guys are also going to like Delirium. We don't have a date yet. It's going to be in March though. So usually it will be about a good month away. But we will update the website. We'll update you on Discord and Twitter when our next discussion is going to be, as well as our sub perks for book club members. Scythe was an amazing book. It was... I would reread it over and over again. There's details in there. I think, like, especially reading the Thunderhead and going back to read Scythe, I know that I will pick up on little Easter eggs in there. So I'm definitely going to be reading that. The Toll, anyway, coming up.
So I guess last question for Scythe. If they were to make a live action, or to make, I guess it's a two-part question, would you want it to be made into a movie or a TV series?
Ooh. I think I would want a TV series. Like an Thrones budget style TV series. TV series if Netflix did it. Movie if it was big budget. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, I'm the odd one out. Movie. I think it has a lot to cram in just a movie. Yeah, I agree, Ryzen. I think it does take a little bit of... there's so much detail that needs to be in there. Like, we didn't even talk about Tiger, which is Rowan's friend. Very major character coming forward. Which, Tiger, that's all I gotta say. Puzzled, are you muted? Wait, hold on a second.
There we go. I don't know why. It's on its right setting, but I had to re-click it. I had to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to talk about Tiger just for a couple of seconds, just what he was in this book. And that was Rowan's best friend. Growing up, he was always there. He was definitely a splatter. And can we get, after this poll, can we get... He was definitely a splatter. He loved the thrill. He had a joy for life. And when Rowan went to study under Goddard, he became a professional party goer. So him and Rowan actually got to kind of continue their friendship in a way. And it was really sweet.
So Des has the tinfoil hat theory. Tiger to me spotted himself to talk to the Thunderhead. What would he talk to the Thunderhead about? Curious.
And he was able to talk to the Thunderhead already, because it wasn't unsavory. So it was very unusual for, the Thunderhead to talk to people when they were in their limbos.
Yep. So our next poll question, which is poll question number 5, would you be a splatter?
Maybe. Like, I wouldn't just do it, like run out to, the Tower of the Americas and just splat for shits and gigs. But it'd probably be like when I'm on an adventure and instead of doing bungee jumping in South America, it would be splatting in South America, because why wouldn't you?
Anything. He was unloved by his family. I mean, I think I would find comfort in anything that I told him. Yeah. So an interesting thing, and this is not a spoiler at all, so I can kind of tell you. I can tell you guys this. So the people that they have generations of children, basically. So like, say I'm a mom and Peach is a dad, and we may have reset our ages like 3 or 4 times. And in that span, we've had 15 children. People could literally just abandon their kids and the Thunderhead will take over parenting for them. Mm-hmm. Ryzen did a Lord of the Rings marathon, including The Hobbit. It took us 2 months to do The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, like, marathon, basically. It's all we watch in our free time. But I don't think I would splat. I don't think I would. Because I feel like less of you is coming back. Like, at what point when they reconstruct your body, is it you or is it something or someone else? I don't know. I just think about weird shit like that.
I think that would be the biggest question, is how do they back? Because you know that you have your and they pretty much, you'll weed out your hurt, and so you're not going to really feel anything. But it's like, when they put you back, are they going to be mesh? Is it going to be computer? Like, I'd kind of love to learn a little bit more about about how their medical works.
I can see myself doing it when I got really angry to take out the aggression. I'm just going to kill myself. And you literally do it. Curry and the lemon. Remember that part? Where she gleaned for the first time in front of Citra, Ryzen?
That is the thing. You remember what happened to Curry and the woman? Which woman would not waste it on squat?
Ooh, Des, your mind, you need to read the next book. Just read the next book, read it all night tonight, and then let's talk about it. When she was about to clean the woman and she asked what would happen to her.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the gleaning that was, she did really quickly. And then Crazy mentioned this earlier about gleaning in general. Like, Citra had like the best way. So she gave them basically 30 days to get their affairs in order, which is nice. And she defended herself. But yeah, like I don't like 30 days. Like, it's just like impending doom. I don't think I would do it that way.
It was a journal entry.
Oh, she said memories get loaded into Thunderhead, but actually she said she didn't know. She's talking about her soul.
I need to take a quick bio break.
Well, we can actually just wrap it up, actually. Keep on looking on our Discord and our Twitter for information about Delirium and our next book club date. Subs that are already subbed to the Official Millennials channel. In our Discord, you do have access to our sub-only chat. And, we'll get some more perks listed for you guys in there soon. With that said, thank you so much for being part of book club. Welcome our new members, Ryzen and Des. J-Bot, thank you for being here for another go around of book club. If you guys have friends that want to join, please have them come in. We are always looking for new people to discuss books with. Really quick though, did you guys like the polls in the chat? Do you think it was a little bit more interactive?
I thought the polls were fun, and hopefully our people thought so too.
I think so. Polls are cool. All right. Well, awesome. What's coming up? Monday's Naked Pod. Wednesday, Circle Jerks with Cage Matic.
Yes, Cage Matic this Wednesday. Tomorrow we have our Discord exclusive D&D. Super stoked about that. It's really weird that tomorrow's already Saturday, considering I just came home for the weekend and I haven't left. So super excited for D&D. Catch us Monday night for the Naked Podcast. Wednesday night with the Circle of Jerks featuring Cage Matic. Super excited. He's actually one of the players and he's such a fun guy. He's so great. I'm trying to like to be like, yeah, he's a great and like all this other stuff too. But he is.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Oh, D&D's tomorrow. I'm so excited. Oh gosh. Yes, come back to the fish actually go to the Puzzles channel. Official Millennials will be hosting her. But yes, we're going to be playing D&D tomorrow and I'm super stoked now. I am very much looking forward to tomorrow. All right, guys. Well, stick around for the raid.
We're going to rage cage.
Yep. Whoop, whoop. All right, guys. Bye.
Sorry.
Be safe. You're fine.
Have a good night.
Yeah, Pulls Rock Puzzle said that as if she would glean if we said no. Sorry, the countdown is going a little slow. We said goodbye too soon. Farewell. Avita and goodbye.
You should be able to hit right now.
It's not giving me an option. My computer's too slow.
I'm going to go bio break real quick. Bye, guys. Love y'all.
Stick around. One sec. Doot, doot, doot.
Oh shit, skeleton.